good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Dima, come on, music! So, YouTuber Arlette Amuli for the last 6 months has been going viral, especially outside of the Phoenix, Arizona area, by producing a series called Pop the Balloon or Find Love. Now, the Pop the Balloon segment is not new to YouTube. It's been done for a long time, but she does it primarily with an African-American or Black audience. And one of her more popular shows had a young brother by the name of Aaron who came on to the show. Now, the way you can look at his interactions with women could be one or two things. One could be, well, he's a little bit too feminine in how he reacts to what the ladies are saying. Or two, he's just clapping back. And what I saw when I first looked at it was, okay, yeah, I wouldn't act like that, but hey, I think he's giving them a little bit of the same energy they giving him, right? That's what I think. And plus, he's making it entertaining. That's what these shows do. I mean, I have the Pan-African Dating Show, and although these shows are definitely real, the guy's entertaining. He's making, what people want, which is he's a personality, and that's what people like to see. That's why we're talking about him right now. Unfortunately for him, he posted on his Instagram status that people had called in to his job as a plumber and got him fired. Now, once this happened, he appeared on Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. And on MTR's channel, he gave some commentary about this.
The way that he was behaving, the output of that was a lot of people labeling that as sassy. Sassy? Because I saw it, and a lot of men saw it, as a man defending himself.
Spartans! What is your profession?
But what did I say within that video is that if you're a masculine man and you choose to defend yourself, you must be ready for the outlash that comes after that. Mainstream media today has proven decade after decade that they are not used to men standing up for themselves. So at the point that a man stands up for himself, live and direct, in front of your face, laps back, it gets met with ire from both men and women alike. Now, the conversation has turned from a internet topic, and it's now diving down deep into, did y'all really go out your way to destroy this man's career? I think that it's absolutely disgusting. I think that it's absolutely deplorable that the way that he conducted himself on that show made you so angry, enhanced your bitter so much that you went out of your way and called his job an uncountable amount of time. First, y'all doxed him, then called his job an uncountable amount of times in order to hurt him.
So that is MTR saying, hey, listen, the guy didn't deserve to get fired. That is completely BS. And he reached out to the guy. And let me just say this. When I heard the guy say that, I actually believed the dude because I know how things can be. So some brothers came together and helped support his GoFundMe. And his GoFundMe earned a lot of money, about $15,000. But let's get back to that in a minute. He also talked about his childhood and his background.
And I started going to jail, juvenile hall, probably, getting placed in handcuffs, probably about 8 or 9 years old. I was what I call what's known as a crash dummy. I was hanging out with guys that were 16, 17 years old, dropped out of high school. My mother, when my grandparents would get upset with my mother, they would cut off her money. And we would suffer. We wouldn't have. I remember that if my sisters are watching this, they'll comment down and let them know this is not no joke. It was times where it was just a jar of peanut butter inside of the refrigerator, and we don't have nothing to eat. My sisters is crying, and their father is not around. My dad's not around. No man is stepping up to the plate. Well, I had to be the man at a young age. I had to protect my sisters. So the older guys, they taught me how to burglarize homes. It started off with, small burglaries. And as I got older, I progressed to more serious crimes, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And did you finish high school?
I did not finish high school. I was hustling around, graduation. I had a lot of money. So I really didn't care for school. But I ended up getting my GED. And I got my GED in prison. you know, and I got it out on the streets and ended up going to college for plumbing for a while. And I was just having discrepancies, maintaining employment and going to college at the same time. A lot of employers, they want you on the job site, you know, as much as possible. They don't care about furthering your skills.
Okay. Right. So, so you began small into this lifestyle of, you know, gang life, criminality. And I guess, how did it progress? So you first started to robbing, and how did it progress into? Are you willing to go into your criminal history? How long you've been locked up?
Yeah, I did 5 years in prison. What they were saying is pretty accurate. You know, the final boss, that's how I was in prison. No nonsense type of guy.
So Mr. Aaron is from the Sacramento, Stockton area, which I'm from. And when I found out that this guy was from my hometown, it just really made me have a lot more sympathy for the guy, right? I'm just going to be honest. However, there are some things that are quite interesting about the guy. There is this Latina ex-girlfriend of his who is saying this.
All right, now that we opened the can of worms, let's go ahead and talk about part 1 of Watch Who the Fuck You Date. So his name is Aaron. Aaron is my ex. We dated for a few months and it didn't last very long. And let me tell you why. He is like insane. It's like he has that little person talking to him in the corner of his shoulder at all times. Like he's making up constant stories in his head about like that I'm cheating on him, that he's got to watch his back, that I have guys in my apartment at all times, and that I'm cheating while I'm at work, when I work in a clinic full of women, by the way. So let's take it back to the beginning. So again, we met. I lived in Arizona. He lived in New Mexico. And he said, oh, I have a friend that lives in Arizona. I was actually just there. I was like, oh, dang. Well, whenever you're down here again, let's grab dinner or whatever. He's like, all right. He ended up coming, and his plan was to end up moving to Arizona anyway with his friend, right? He ended up at my house so much anyway that I was just kind of like, I mean, you kind of already live here. His clothes was there, everything. So I was like, fuck it. Just, you know, that was my mistake. So my mom ends up making dinners for us all the time. We're Mexican. We make huge dinners. And the first time he went, he met the family and everything was cool. But when we left, my mom called me and she said, are you okay? And I said, what do you mean, am I okay? She said, well, I see something in his eye, like he wants to hurt you or like he wants to control you. I don't know how to tell you because I don't want you to think that I'm crazy. But I'm just telling you to be careful and really think about if this is the guy that you really want to be with,
All right, that could be, you know, here or there. That's how it always could be. You know, an ex-girlfriend can say this or say that, but according to other sources, there are many different ladies coming out saying different things about the guy. All right, you know, I can't prove that. However, Abba and Preach did a second video on the guy, pretty much calling the guy a scammer and a fraud. Now, obviously, the guy has a background, a criminal background. He's been to the penitentiary and things like that. But what Abba and Preach is going to release here is troubling.
Why don't we start there, where we left off? Pop the balloon. But I did my own personal research on the man.
Go ahead, bro.
So dude's a felon.
But then again, you know, it doesn't mean anything. I know some people that are felons, and
that was him. Well, that's him a little bit younger.
Yeah, when he was younger.
Yeah. Advertised. He basically set up a Craigslist thing. Basically robbed someone. Yes. So ended up going to jail for that. But you know, people can't change. Just because you were a felon in the past doesn't mean you can't grow out of it. Even but more recently, he had an emergency protective order filed against him by another woman who was basically saying this motherfucker is crazy, and so she went to the judge and got an emergency protective order. But
isn't that what you said the first video?
That
you said if you see someone like that, I wouldn't be surprised of X, Y, and Z. You said exactly that. Did he lose his job?
I mean, he claims.
Did he start?
Because you remember he was arguing with that one girl. And she was like, "Oh, you probably live with your roommate." He's like, "I could pull out $100K now."
Okay. But one thing about me, I could pull $100,000 on the bank. Can you do the same?
And now he
got a GoFundMe
for $10,000.
This dude's a fraudster. And you know what? He did the same thing with the ex.
One time he was really, really mad at me, and through the text free app, because I had his number blocked, he texted me a picture of his bank account, which this is the receipt. His name right there, Aaron. I don't know what Pro Extra member means. I have no idea what all of this means. Supposedly this was his balance.
So she don't know what this receipt is, but he's basically saying, I got money. Folks in the comments saw, they're like, that's not a bank statement. That's a contractor statement for how much they've spent at Home Depot this year. because he works for a company, so he gets so he ain't got no bread. He just lying, bro. 21 hours ago, this man was doing this. The man played y'all. Everybody who donated, everyone who vouched for him, everyone who said this dude is a stand-up guy, bro, he asking y'all for water while he's out here making it rain. Now, does that make sense?
So that last video of the dude, unfortunately, that's definitely him. I don't know exactly when, but that's him in the club throwing money, taking off his shirt, you know, after saying, hey, listen, I'm broke, I don't have any money. And it was crazy because on the show, he was telling the chicks, listen, you know, I got $100,000 in my account. Can you go do that? And, you know, now he's raising a GoFundMe in which he's, you know, made almost $15,000 on. But if this video is recent, you have this brother who is taking off his shirt and throwing cash in the club with probably these guys' money since you said that you were fired, right? Now, let me just say this. I hope that video is not new, like those guys are saying, because if it is, this guy, if that is true, he's taking these brothers for a ride, okay? And I hope that somebody from my city wouldn't do something like that to other people, especially being from Sacramento. And again, you know, I'm trying to give my brother the benefit of the doubt. If somebody said he might be from Oak Park or something like that, I'm from Del Paso Heights, but it was a lot of men that came out giving money, not just African-American men. From some of these last names, I see brothers with Nigerian-American names. I see, you know, probably people from other communities, but most of these dudes that I see are brothers from the black community giving money. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, people giving good money too, right? Trying to help the guy out. And if this is true, this guy played him. And so let me just say this. Preach brought up a really good point that, you know, we don't know if he's telling the truth about that or not. And somebody called to me yesterday. I won't mention who the person was. It was a lady, and she said pretty much everything that Abba and Priest said before they said it. Yeah, this was like early last night, and she was saying, "Listen, I don't believe anything the guy is saying. I think the guy's not telling the truth. I think the guy is lying." And I was like, "Well, why would he lie about, you know, getting fired?" And I mean, he would not have known that MTR was going to reach out to him. He wouldn't know that this was going to happen. But hey, this is what he says. And let's read this GoFundMe. Peace and blessings be upon all y'all. My name is Aaron, aka Weapon X. I recently went viral on several websites, gaining millions of views. False allegations have been promoted in order for people to make money discrediting me. I was fired from work today due to these videos. Today was honestly the first time I cried in a while. Getting my license in plumbing was my biggest life accomplishment. It took years of hard work, studying, and praying. I also provide free plumbing services to Army veterans, single mothers, single fathers, those with hard management issues, and those on disability. Now, let me just also talk about the point the young lady made to me. She said, listen, if this guy has a criminal record, a violent criminal record, what plumbing company would hire him so that he can go into other people's homes? Think about that. If his record is like that, he's in people's houses, right? Would somebody risk doing that with a guy with a record like this? I've thought about it. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that the brother took, you know, the community for a ride on this? This is a scam. I don't know, man. Albert and Preach do make up a pretty good point here, right? And I hope that this is not the case. But so, guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with an episode of The Celebrity Junk. Thank you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.